Did you say meow? Are you a cat boy?
I did not say meow.
It sounded like you said
no,
meow.
I was being very gay, all right?
Oh god, he played too much FF14 and now he's a cat boy.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I am Maddy Grace Weapon.
And today we are joined by a very special guest. He is Games is Lit 101 over on YouTube. He is the Game Professor on Twitter, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
it is actually just at Games is Lit.
At Games is Lit, yeah, because I follow two people named Games is Lit. One is 101 and one is not, and I can never remember which one is which.
Yeah, I think I follow who you're talking about also. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, his name is Sam, so this is going to get confusing.
Very confusing.
We can just say, "Hey, Professor."
If it helps you differentiate us, sure.
Sorry,
I think we'll be fine. We'll figure it out. If I say it with
has everyone here seen Professor Layton and the Malignant Growth?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, weird.
If I say hey Sam and it sound if I say that Sam, the word Sam with like a stern or upset voice, I'm talking about Sam Allman, and if I say Sam with a nice sounding voice, then I'm talking about to the other Sam.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I'll just assume that you say Sam, you're talking to him, and then maybe after you get my attention, I'll eventually begin to respond.
Yeah. But today we will be discussing the first micro chunk of Lunar the Silver Star, because there's a lot of cool shit to talk about this game, because it's really good. And there's a reason instead of making a third one, they just remade the first one 500 times. But before we get to all of that, how was everybody's week?
All right, I'm going to go first this time.
Yeah.
If it's right.
No.
I
go right ahead.
I had a hell of a week. So as I mentioned, I believe last time. Wait, when did we record? We recorded on a Tuesday last time, and now it's a Sunday. Yeah. Oh wait. No, the thing that I talked about last week happened the week before. Never mind. Anyway, so if you recall, 2 weeks ago there was that big old strike that took me an absurd amount of work. I spent the rest of the week recovering from that, and I didn't realize how much took it out of me. I guess I'm not as young as I used to be back 18 months ago when I did this for two straight weeks.
One pandemic ago.
But anyway, it totally kicked my ass, and I've been recovering from it pretty much all week. I still feel like just tired in general in a way that I don't normally. But in addition to that, on Tuesday, I had that job interview that I was telling everyone to give me good vibes about. And I will say I haven't heard back yet, but I completely nailed it. It might be the best job interview I've ever given, honestly.
That's awesome.
It was a panel, and I thought I looked great, and if you want to see how I look, check out my Twitter. It was very good selfies. And I thought I talked very, very, very nicely. Had a good, had a nice voice, good enunciation. I didn't talk way too fast and mumble like I do all the time, as y'all know. And I thought I was likable and smart and gave good answers, and I just came away from it feeling awesome. I did do one really dumb thing. I forgot to ask the important question of what's the timeline on this thing on hiring. Forgot to ask and felt dumb afterwards, so I didn't go and email her. I just thought, you know what, it'll happen when it happens. But I know that they're still interviewing until next Tuesday. So there wouldn't be any way they would probably give me the job until at least they finished interviewing everybody. In addition, this is a government job, and it's been, they have their very specific bureaucratic process. So every previous step has been like a 3-week wait before like the next thing happened. So it could be a while. I am dying every single day though, and checking my email a billion times a day. But long story short, I feel really good about it. Also, fun fact, and this is why I'm private on Twitter now and everything else. The job that I might be getting is unionized, and the union is the same union that I just did a strike for 5 straight days. So I went private on everything because the last thing I want them to do is see any of my social media right now. Hey, employer, I'm really into doing strikes and being a pain in the ass as an employee. So I'm private on Twitter, which is crazy because I love being on Twitter and people retweeting me and me having that those endorphins. So being private is killing me.
Making sure the strike is over, right? You're not about to go cross the picket line on all your friends.
No, it's over. Also,
Okay.
This is a different job. SEIU 10-1 is a very, very large union.
Okay.
It's a different workplace. It's just the same union. I didn't tell you. This is actually a scab position they're hiring me for. No, God, I would never. Oh my God, actually, I will say, I have been wanting to be a teacher. They pay subs 3 times as much to scab during strikes. It's crazy. And I'm like, wow, if I was a less moral person, I could make some bucks. Anyway, I just thought I'd give y'all an update on that because I know that y'all probably care. So continue sending vibes. Finally, and I won't go into this as much, but about an hour ago, I did finally hit the requirements to go affiliate on Twitch. So now I can do all the fun Twitch stuff, like have special emotes and all that shit that I frankly don't know anything about. So hooray. Thank you to anybody who's ever tuned into my Twitch. All right, that's it. I am done. Eli, what is going on with you? Hope your week was better than the last couple.
It's been a fucking roller coaster. So first off, Final Fantasy had a big patch on Monday into Tuesday. I pulled an all-nighter, and at 5 a.m. I got me my dream house. It is a medium because we didn't have the gil for a large, but getting a large... Actually, we probably could have gotten a large because we're on Marlboro. But yeah, we have a nice big house now. And
everyone's freaking out about the housing rush.
Yeah. Thankfully, Marlboro being a smaller server made it way easier. I got on immediately as the game came up. Mm-hmm. And when I went into the housing district, it was fucking empty.
Nice.
And I ran straight to the house I wanted, and I bought that shit so fast. And because it was a free company house, and I don't already own a private house on Marlboro, I also bought the house next door to it, which was our old place. And so now my character is turning it into a restaurant that he and his husband and boyfriends can all run together. It's going to be super cute.
That's dope.
Yeah. I'm really excited for it. And we've been wanting a medium house for fucking ever. So it was really, really exciting to be able to get that. I feel bad for anyone who was on Balmung or Mateus. That shit sold out immediately, and they had queues of over 1,000 people logging in.
Yeesh.
Yeah. There is a fucking housing crisis in Final Fantasy XIV, and someone needs to study that shit. Like the CDC studying the corrupted blood plague in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I also had a very massive life-changing event happen. It is a good thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast. Yeah, it's a pretty big fucking deal for me.
It rules.
Yeah.
It rules. Yeah. But it's also a very private deal. I've been letting a very select few number of people in on this information. But it's been a real rush, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm very, very happy.
Nice.
And through this life-changing event, I also brought us more blood for the blood god. I'd I'd like to give a shout out to the lovely Biz. And
This is dope.
I have plugged her Patreon on this podcast before, and I'm going to do it again. And I'll probably do it more often.
It's fine.
Her Patreon is for her book called Margrave. It is a high fantasy set in a modern setting, lots of queer themes and characters. She is an incredible writer. I highly recommend checking it out. Her website is patreon.com/BizSalvoni. That is BizSalvoni.
Nice.
Definitely check that out. She could use the money. She could use the support, really. And then also a big shout out to her younger brother, Sterling, who is apparently a fanboy of mine now.
Aww.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know about Has Been Hotel.
I have vaguely heard those. That's the name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
I saw the first episode.
Yeah. Biz and her brother are massive Has Been Hotel fans. And apparently I sound like angel dust.
Oh gosh.
Sterling has been super fucking thrilled to listen to this podcast because he gets to hear angel dust talk about video games. So Sterling, thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you someday. You're awesome. So it's been pretty great. I've had a really good week, other than work being absolutely bonkers, insane, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's patch time. So
yeah, it's patch time, and it's a big patch. So
WoW and Final Fantasy had their
there.
patches on the same goddamn day.
Yikes! I could not imagine pulling an all-nighter and then going to work.
Thankfully,
on patch day.
Well, yeah. Thankfully, I didn't work on patch day because my weekend is Monday, Tuesday. But because of this big, massive, life-changing event that happened, it happened Tuesday night, and I was up until 4 in the goddamn morning. So
don't do that.
No, I got 3 hours of sleep. Work the next day. It was fucking miserable.
Nice.
So aside from the fact that I had someone to talk to all day for reasons relating to that event. So, but anyway, yes, I wanted to give those shout outs. You two are great. Really glad to have you on board.
Nice. I killed our website. It's dead. That's what I did this week. I took the blogger formerly known as www.rpgbook.club and I killed it because Ko-fi has I hate saying the word Ko-fi because it's spelt like Ko-fi, but Ko-fi has improved their blogging editor, because before you couldn't do inline pictures, so it wasn't up to snuff when I wanted to do the JRPG canon stuff, but now you can. So yeah. I killed the blogger, and now www.rpgbook.club just redirects to our Ko-fi, so I don't have to say Ko-fi anymore. I can just say support us online at www.rpgbook.club, and it's great.
Oh, hell yes. That's really the best part of all of this.
Hell yeah. So I don't have to say that anymore. But yeah, so I spent an inordinate amount of time of reading something that I wrote and worked really hard on like calendar years ago, which is like bonkers to ever do. I don't know if you've ever gone back and revisited something that you did a long time ago, and it's just like, I didn't write these. Who would write these words? It's because it's not me, and it's been weird. But I of course made some of my jokes sound better because that's what you do in the future. So it's not a 1-to-1 port. I made a lot better choices.
It's an enhanced port.
Yes. Other than that, I started playing my first non-Persona Shin Megami Tensei game and started playing Digital Devil Saga. And although Persona 3 has you summoning dudes by like shooting yourself in the head, I wasn't prepared for like a rated R JRPG because it's weird to have it not be like T for teen, and they like giggle when they like they have a like JRPGs have beach episodes, not sex scenes, and like that's not the vibe of this one, and it's bonkers, and like I kind of felt like grossed out when, because spoilers for the first thing that happens in Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga, but all of your friends turn into demons and then eat all of their other friends, and that's the like apocalypse that's going on. So it's a lot, and because I'm used to like Legend of Dragoon, where people just say things with good music behind it, and that's it. That's the game. But this was wild. It's really fun. I really like it. It has an auto battle, which I'm finding is one of my favorite features in JRPGs. I wish every single one of them was better, except for Final Fantasy XII, because I wish all of them had Final Fantasy XII's auto battle. But yeah, that's all I did this week. What about you, Nega Sam? Tell us about every week that has ever happened up until this week.
Well, one time I was birthed from my parents, and I'm not going to go into detail on that. I feel like that's a. I don't believe. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
how can you possibly know? You don't have any memories of it.
We missed an opportunity for a bit where this is actually Sam Jr. And you're from the future.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Sam, you're going to have another kid, and here he is.
Came to warn you about the whole like no future thing. You don't have too much longer, so have fun.
Oh, we already figured that. We already guessed that. We don't need to warn us about it. We figured it out.
I guess I had to go back a little further for that to be surprising, huh?
That's why I'm just throwing caution to the
I'm
wind.
here to warn you about coronavirus, and we're like,
yeah.
You missed it, buddy.
Yeah, you might want to go back a little farther. I hope your time machine doesn't.
Next time.
Yeah, I hope the time machine works more than once, because otherwise.
So, as a tangent, before I let you finish talking, that's actually the plot of one of my favorite DC events in the last couple years, probably 5 years ago now. Oh. But it was called Future's End, and they sent Batman Beyond back in time to stop everything from happening, and they didn't send it back far enough. Everything had already happened. So Batman Beyond was like in the current thing, but like 5 years from now, when everything had already gone to shit because he hadn't gone back far enough. And it's phenomenal. I really recommend it. It was put out weekly by Brian Azzarello, and writing a comic book in a week is nuts, but it lasted a whole year. It was one of their, back here in the New 52, they would do a bunch of those things, and that was one of them for one of the years, but it's really good.
Nice.
Recommend. But continue. What
I
happened after the birth? Skip all of the weeks except for this one.
Yeah, I'll skip a couple years on that. Oh gosh, I don't have like pre-existing, things that anyone like knows about my previous weeks. Let's see. I've been working on another episode of my web series. It's about The Last of Us Part 2, which is a very fascinating and ambitious but imperfect game.
Don't get Maddy started. He exploded on it like 2 weeks ago.
I'm not going to say anything. I mean, it would be impossible to discuss with the two of you here.
Yes.
Honestly, it's a complicated game to discuss in the first place, but my video is pretty specifically about sort of the idea that it's like guilt tripping the player, because I feel like that's a little reductive. So it's
thank
kind of
God.
about that.
All the critics said that, and I'm like, that's stupid. That's a stupid point. I don't know. I just don't think that was at all what was going on with that game. That's just a dumb thing to say.
Yeah, the game has no meta text whatsoever. Like, that's just not a thing that it's doing, really. I don't know. I've seen it compared to like Spec Ops: The Line, which admittedly is also a very reductive read of Spec Ops: The Line, but like they're doing very, very different things.
Oh man, I'm glad we're on the same page.
But anyway, I
should watch your video.
I mean, I could just like recite the entire script here, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I've been working on that a bit. I actually just recently started Final Fantasy XIV with some of the people in my Patreon server, and I have been struggling not to only play Final Fantasy XIV.
It's weird how it does that, huh? Where you're just like, I've done MMOs before. This will be nothing. And then like the first NPC talks and it's in an RPG text box and you're like, oh no, this is a Final Fantasy game. Oh no, this is a Final Fantasy game that's 400 hours long. Shit. I need to do nothing
Final
but
Fantasy,
play this for 400
with a whole lot of filler in the story because, you know, MMO questing nonsense, and also like you can do some stuff with friends, and it's very enjoyable.
Now here's what it is.
But
It's
as
a
a
Final
result,
Fantasy game, except the beautiful graphics are covered up with hideous graphic design until you modify your UI and get rid of all the shit.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. Yeah. But yeah, as a result, I still have yet to finish Crash Bandicoot 4, despite Crash being one of my favorite series as a child, and I'm loving this new one, but I need to finish it still.
I heard. So I hate to say it, but I think the death of Kotaku, R.I.P. The Kotaku that's left is, and this is not me being one of the people that have been saying the death of Kotaku for the past 5 years. And saying that SGWs are ruining it. I'm saying it's ruined because all the SGWs are gone now. So that's why it's ruined. But the death of Kotaku means that criticism is bad again, I think, because everybody said, like all of the critics said that Crash 4 sucked. And then every single person I see actually playing it on Twitter says that it crashes back, baby, and it's great, and they love it.
Seriously? Were the reviews that bad? Because I've been enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, like most people are like they made a PlayStation 1 game for better or worse. And I'm like, that's mean.
That's because most critics and frankly a lot of fans are under the have the pitchfork mindset when it comes to art, which is that it is all about being on trend, and that if you're not doing the trends that are popular, then your thing is bad. And that styles can somehow be out of date. It really drives me crazy, and yeah, I think that's where a lot of people are coming. Stupid.
Yeah, well, it especially in this specific context, like the entire point is, hey, we're making a game like the old good ones instead of all of the crappy ones we've been getting for the last decade.
If it was
like,
good
that's the
then,
point.
why can't it be good now? Unless you're just lying to yourself when you go back and play it.
It does have an 85 on Metacritic, so I feel like it couldn't have been too bad. But
I will say I did one review, and the review was like positive, but it was like very tepid positive, you know?
Yeah, and the one thing that I've seen that they've done, because I haven't played it yet, but they added modern mode, which uses the Rayman Legends style checkpoints, which is a lot of them and free. So like that's all you need in a platformer, especially a really hard one like this. Like you just put it on modern mode and just the jumps can be hard because they're hard jumps, and then you just go and do it
again,
like
bitch.
Yep.
Just keep,
and then
keep
they have
going.
like specific rewards for going through or getting to certain points without dying and stuff, or without dying very much. Like they do a good job of making sure that there's still a challenge to do a good job for extended periods of time without punishing you horribly for ever messing up. So it's good. I'm enjoying it a whole lot.
I've never played a Crash Bandicoot game.
I think
I'm leaving.
I think it's a great series.
I'm sorry, I'm leaving. I'm out. I'm canceled.
Oh, damn it! I mean, yes.
Crash 2 was like the first game I ever loved, so you know they hold a place in my heart.
One.
But
me and Summer started playing through the Insane trilogy, and then we got to the ruins level that like starts as a side scroller and then has a lot of floaty blocks. That one's broken on the Insane trilogy. That's where you can't do the collision detection, and it makes me really upset. So we skipped Crash 2 and 3 because they don't have that problem in the Insane trilogy. But Crash 2 is great, and we played it in one
set. 2 are the best ones anyway. Two in particular, honestly, I still kind of think that it's the best of the trilogy. But yeah. But anyway, that's been my week, I guess. Aside from that, it's been fairly normal. Been working. I've been reading Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis, and it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and I also got the new Dresden Files book and haven't listened to it yet, so that's
nice.
That's the thing. But
I have a Dresden Files book that I keep meaning to read and haven't done it.
Yes, I highly recommend them. They don't truly get like amazing until the third book, but it's just very, very good. I love them a lot.
Yeah, I should read more. I love reading, and then I don't ever do it. But,
I read actually over this last week. I read probably the most like political theory I've read in a while. And it was nice because I love reading that shit, but it's been a while. So I was like, I was reading like a bunch of Chibber, whom I'm actually not very familiar with. I read all that like Thursday night and Friday morning and Saturday, and I was like, oh man, reading. Y'all heard of this? You heard of this reading thing? It's good.
Yeah, reading's good.
Yeah,
gotta love reading. Speaking of reading, not at all. We are going to listen to probably the song that Luna sings. I don't know if she sings it in Maddy's version.
Yes, she does.
Okay, good. So we're going to listen to that version. What I'm going to try to do is what I tried to tell Bernard to do back during East, and he said no. But I'm going to try and like crossfade between versions because they redid the soundtrack on the PSP version, and so I'll start with Sega CD and crossfade it into the PSP version for all of our music breaks this season. But we'll listen to Luna's song to kick us off, and then Maddy will tell us what happened this week.
Wow, Sam, great job on that crossfade. It sounded so cool. Great job doing it.
As if I haven't heard Luna's song enough this week. Good Lord.
Anyway, okay, so
it's fine. I don't listen to this podcast.
Okay, so we got this goddamned video game, Luna, the Silver Star, for mini consoles. I'm playing on Sega CD, and I'm just going to say I'm playing on Sega CD. We could talk differences at the end, but also if someone wants to just butt in and be like, hey, it was different in our game, that's fine. I think that probably would be the best thing, unless it's like every sentence, which I don't think it is. So yeah, feel free to butt in, or mention at the end. So you start this game on the Sega CD, and because it's on the CD, it has an incredible anime opening. The song fucking rules. It's in English, which is cool. The localizer's got new lyrics and a new singer for it. It's just extremely cool, like rock music. It's very Ys, actually. Spoiler alert, this game is like 50% Ys and 50% Dragon Quest, so it was like made for me. Anyway, so we have this heroic looking boy, we have a beautiful blue haired girl, oh no, lots of demons, and then there's some kind of armored warrior who is sort of a Golbez looking motherfucker, seems to be maybe a bad guy of some sort. The lyrics are all like fighting through the darkness, something evil, something a hero. There's ancient runes, there's more characters that look cool. And then it says Lunar, the Silver Star, and you press start to play, and it's great. Anyway, so we're in the regular-ass podunk JRPG town of Berg, and...
All right, let me stop you right there, since you told me to stop you right there. The little words that pop up on the screen that are like, once upon a time, there was a Dragon Master named Dine, that's playable in the PlayStation Portable version.
Oh, very
and
cool.
You play as Dine, and you play as all of his friends and his extremely hot blonde friend. And they do the thing that I love is like Dine had his JRPG. It's over. It's done. But all those characters love each other at the end of the JRPG like they're supposed to. So they're like chatting with each other and like picking on each other and all of this stuff and having a grand old time while they're stopping the big bad from being big and bad. And it's really cool. I don't actually have any particular notes on it because I forgot to do that, even though I knew it was different. But
that's cool. What's up?
I didn't actually realize, because I'm playing the PSP version. So was that whole scene not playable in the original?
Sure isn't.
Yeah,
in this game, it is a couple sentences of lore.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Weird. Okay, because it's just a whole scene in there, and it's a pretty good, and I'm personally a sucker for when RPGs start off like letting you play a fully Like letting you
it's
play a
always
team
fun
that has
idea.
all of their abilities and stuff, and you get to do all the cool stuff and see how great everything's going to be by the time you eventually do level up real high. And yeah, so I loved that. I wouldn't honestly. I thought it was a pretty strong opening, and I can't imagine the game without it.
The game that I think is like not the first game to do it, but like the platonic version of this is not an RPG or even a game I particularly love, but the beginning of Symphony of the Night, right? The beginning of Symphony of the Night literally starts with the end of Rondo of Blood. It literally, like if you played Rondo of Blood, it's the same level layout, and it's like, oh, here's the end of the previous game where the guy defeated Dracula. That's cool, and you actually play it. So neat. Glad to know that this game does that.
Also, I do have to say also, I much prefer this type of thing where like it's the end of a previous story to the more common version that like Final Fantasy 15 did, where it's just like, hey, you're going to play the end for a bit. Just going to play some stuff from the end, and then we're going to skip to the beginning.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15's like flash forward and media res thing was weird, and it never amounted to anything except for just like, this is the thing that's going to happen eventually. And I say that as a deep, deep lover of FF15. It's weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we either play or read something very, very simple, which is that long ago there was so in the town of Berg, there's a statue to a valiant warrior who once saved the world. Dyne, D-Y-N-E, same name as Barrett's friend / rival from Final Fantasy VII, Dyne the Dragon Master. So it looks like we're going to get some fucking dragons in this game, folks. The young boy Alex visits the grave of Dyne every day. Not because Dyne is his like dead father or something, but because he just really reveres the hero of old and likes, I don't know, thinking about him sometimes. Do the other versions of this game tell you how long ago the whole Dyne thing happened? Because this version does not.
I don't think it does.
It could be 50 years. It could be 10,000 years for all I know. But I would guess it's like long enough that it's sort of a legend, but definitely still a thing that happened. I don't know. Maybe 100 years? I don't know. Anyway, one day, while it's fantasy, we know there's no difference between something happening 100 years ago and something happening 10 million years ago in a fantasy RPG story. Anyway, one day, while chilling out looking at a statue, he hears someone calling his name because this game has voice acting, despite being released in 1993. Alex, you hear, and then into the frame flies a tiny, furry, adorable little dragon friend. But here's the spoiler: this little cute dragon friend is an asshole.
Yes.
In a way that I think is
this guy.
I find it very funny. His very first thing he does is he's like, he's got a very cute voice. He's literally just like, Alex, I know you love to want to be a hero one day. But anyway, he basically is like, yo, dude, you just come here and look at this statue every day. Why don't you actually get off your ass and actually go be a hero and have an adventure, you lazy millennial, basically.
I will say, of the two characters so far that we have met who are kind of jerks, I do like Null better.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So this person's name is Null. And then Null says, was Null gendered at any point?
I don't. Yes, I believe he is a he.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He seems like a he. Oh yeah, because remember he's also like sexist.
Let me check my manual.
They just can't be sexist.
Where it tells me about everybody.
Anyway, Null then says, I'll go on while you're looking. Null is like, hey, weren't you supposed to practice singing with Luna today? I feel like we certainly wouldn't want to make Luna mad, because how are we supposed to be able to save if Luna's mad at us?
Null is a boy, says the manual.
Null's a boy, got it. We head south and run into our friend. I wrote it down farther down on the page. Ramus. There we go. Ramus Haney. Anyway, where was I? Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, we run into our friend Ramus. He's, I love his design. The second he shows up, I immediately love him. That love will not last very long, but I do love him right now. He looks like a Miyazaki character. He's portly and wears glasses and has a very cool yellow scarf. He is Alex's BFF. I mean, kind of. It's maybe assumed. He found out that there's a dragon with a diamond in a cave nearby and says we should come with him to go get it, although he is going to go either way. We explore the town and learn that we're singing for a festival to honor dying today. Oh, look at that. Day of the festival. Apparently, Alex is a great singer. Actually, they don't say he's a great singer, but they just say that he's great at teaching singing. He's at least a great accompanist.
Wait, hold it right there. He doesn't play the ocarina? He sings in your version?
No, but that's what they say here.
Weird, because
that's what they say here. We'll get there in a second. So, but no, he has not sung yet. But the characters say that he's good at teaching singing, and I think they say that he's good at singing. And I do believe that he says that the two of us are singing today.
I remember that.
Yeah. So anyway, Luna, as we talk to some NPCs and find out, is our adopted sister. We are our parents' natural son, but we also have an adopted sister. They I forget how, but they found her one day. I don't know if it was inside of a bamboo shoot or in a basket placed on the steps of she was inside of an egg and has a special little pendant or something like that. But she has a mysterious past. This is our first indication that this game is probably the kind of game where we're not really the main important character. She is. Anyway, she has a mysterious past. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned, this game breaks every JRPG convention by presenting us with a hero who has 2 alive parents. Oh, wait a second. We just did Chrono Cross. Wow. 2 alive and not turned into a cat person parents. Anyway, we also learned some other stuff from the NPCs that I apologize for not keeping better track of. I'll do better next week. Just some basic stuff like, oh no, there's been some heavy flooding recently, and the bridge to the next town is out temporarily. And also, when we, as in Alex, I always say we to refer to us, the collective players, as player character Alex. I realized last time that I always do that. When we were younger, we were a real piece of shit, and everyone is surprised that we've mellowed out and turned into a responsible lad. At first I was like, oh wow, we used to be a really huge pain in the ass piece of shit as a kid, and then I remembered that Sam Allman is my friend, and I've learned that no, just every child is a huge piece of shit.
Every single child.
So I think maybe he was just a normal amount of shit, but maybe. Ramus apparently is still a troublemaker, and his parents are run pretty ragged by him. Anyway, so we go to the nearby stream. We actually go out to the world map. This game's world map is beautiful. It's got so much more on it than your typical world map. It feels more zoomed in. Instead of having basic tiles, this is a whole forest, this one tile. You get, there's a little stream, there's a river that runs through it, where it is the town, and that river appears on the world map running through the town, and then the river goes up to, a place where it's a lake. Anyway, we go up there, and that is where Luna is. We go there, and we find her bouquet. And then, in a cutscene, Luna appears. She's beautiful and has a very nice voice. She has blue hair with purple accents. And, sorry, this doesn't make any sense. She has blue hair, and her clothing has purple accents. She says, time to practice, and then, oh my god, there is a breathtakingly beautiful animated cutscene. Luna clasps her hand to her heart and looks toward the sky, while Alex sits on a rock beside her and plays his harp. He plays and she sings the beautiful song until halfway through he plays the harp, not an ocarina, and he does not sing in this scene. And then anyway,
while we're stopping and talking about the ocarina, the PSP version has a you pick from a list world map, which is crazy.
Oh,
also
strange.
Luna was already in town. The little across the stream where she was is just the second part of town. And when you walk in, she's already singing. And you walk in, and so she's singing the thing. And Alex joins her with the ocarina on the second verse.
Oh yeah, that is a difference.
Oh, yeah. Neat. Quite interesting. Nice. I wouldn't know if it's better or worse, but the way it is done in this game, that's cool how they changed it, because the way that it's done in the game I played is perfect. And if I were to remake this game, I wouldn't be like, this needs to be improved. But they decided, hey, we're going to do it different, which is cool. I respect that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's also breathtaking.
Yeah, I'm sure it's also great. That's what I'm saying.
The whole game is just gorgeous, honestly.
Yeah. made a point about the graphics. I mentioned earlier it was like East meets Dragon Quest. That actually is not a pity thing. That's for a lot of mechanical and philosophical reasons, I feel like. But one way is aesthetic. If you were one of the people who played along with me and played the older versions of East 1 or East 2 back when we were playing that, you're going to see that this game has pretty much that same late 80s, early 90s anime aesthetic, combined with a beautiful pixel graphics. And yeah, it's very similar actually to the TurboGrafx CD East game. What's interesting is that it's not a remake of anything; it's the original game. Like, it's not like they took a game and then it feels like they took a game and then added like voice acting and cutscenes to it. But no, this is the first version of the game. Anyway, she breaks off. She says, "Alex, your playing is strange." She asks what's wrong, and we are a silent protagonist, so Null tells her we're preoccupied and we want to go to the Dragon Cave. She says, "Don't go, it's dangerous," and we say 3 entire lines, an entire text box worth of ... Then she says, "Okay, fine, I'm going with you." We go back to town for some supplies. There's some stuff involving a chest that I'm skipping. I'll bring it back in my memorable moments, though if there's something interesting to talk about, if there's anything interesting y'all want to bring up from y'all's version, feel free.
It was not in our version, so if it wasn't important to you, it really wasn't important to us.
Actually, I'll share it now. It's actually quite good. This game does a lot of very overt tutorializing, like the kind that you see in a more modern game. Like, I'm not saying old games won't have tutorials, but they kind of are just like, they don't have tutorials. They're just like the beginning of the game is easy. And the fact that it's easy means you can experiment and figure out how the game works. And usually if you have a question, you look in the manual. This game has explicit tutorializing. It teaches you basically how keys work. What happens is you go to a treasure chest in the basement of your house because Luna suggests that we do that. To get some items, and we go down there and it's locked, and if you're me, you've already explored and you already knew it was locked. It's locked, and I think Luna, or perhaps, well, I guess Alex doesn't talk, Luna is like, "Oh god, it's locked, what do we do?" Null pops up and is like, I don't know, maybe we should just find a fucking key. Has anybody ever thought about that before? I'm only the only exaggeration there was me adding the F word. Like, he's extremely sassy. He's like, "Y'all, we just got to get the key dip." Have you not played
my version had an F word. What are you talking about?
Anyway, I find it.
He got the rated R version.
It would just be a memorable moment for me because it's just a funny line. But I do think it's notable that it is a very explicit tutorial, which is cool. You go upstairs and you ask your dad for the key, and he gives it to you. That's literally it. We're like, "Oh wow, that was easy." I think there might even be like a little bit of writing lampshading the fact that it was so easy, and like obviously the fact that we were so confused by this is stupid. Anyway, so we go out to the world map and travel a surprisingly long distance to the cave. Along the way, seriously, it's a really, really long walk. Along the way, we pass a big shrine or church thing. They heal you for free. You can also donate to them. I did not do that, and I do not know what it do. Did anybody donate to the church?
I didn't even see a church.
Yeah, I don't remember that
we
at
don't,
all.
We don't have one.
Wild how they're... Oh yeah, actually, Bernard says that y'all don't get that. Yeah, so it's a free heal right outside the dungeon, which is nice. They took that out for y'all. So let's talk about... I'm going to briefly discuss the battle system. The battle system is really neat. It plays a lot. It plays Dragon Questy. This game's approach to menus in general is Dragon Questy. It's Dragon Questy because you don't take turns. You have entire rounds. So you pick your entire all of your characters as actions before the round begins, just like old Final Fantasy, the first couple of Final Fantasies. And also the speed stat seems to vary a decent bit. So sometimes one person might go fast before someone else, even if normally they wouldn't. It's pretty basic, except there's one really weird thing about it. All of your characters are arranged on an area, right? And when you attack an enemy, your character, such as Alex, doesn't just immediately jump across the screen to where they are, hit them, and then jump back. Or if it's Final Fantasy IV, just pretend to slash the air. They actually run up to the bad guy and hit them. And when they hit them, the bad guy gets knocked back a little bit, and then the person who hit them stays there. And that's not just flavor. If you pick, for example, Luna, and tell Luna to attack the enemy, Luna will run towards the enemy, but because she started off slightly farther away, not get there, and thus not attack. So your move distance is how far you go to attack. And if the enemy is too far away, you will simply run toward the enemy and not attack them. It's very, very simplistic. You can't move around without attacking, but it is neat. And there's already a little bit of strategizing. Like, if you want Alex to attack one character, instead of having everyone gang up on the same enemy, which you would normally do, you actually really don't want to do that, because Alex will probably knock the enemy back, and then Luna won't get to him. So instead, you have Luna attack the close. You intentionally have Alex attack the farther away enemy, and Luna attack the closer enemy. There's not much more to talk about it from now. Alex has only attacks. He will get spells later, but doesn't yet, according to the menu. Ramus also has attacks and will get spells later, but doesn't currently, according to the menu. And Luna has attacks. And I know in y'all's version, she gets some kind of ranged attack. In my version, she does not. At least not yet. And she has songs that she could sing instead of magic. But they do use MP, so it is the same thing. However, she starts with 5 spells in my version of the game, and I believe that y'all only start with 2. So what spells do y'all start with?
We start with Healing Song and Purity Song.
Nice. Purity is status.
I actually didn't know what spells she had, because I've been doing auto battles this entire time.
Nice.
Nice.
My auto battle can't be trusted to use the spells, so I haven't been using it.
Oh, really?
I just always assume auto battle
I'm not
can't
saying
be
it
trusted,
doesn't.
honestly.
I'm saying it's not as smart as it could be. So I've had to jump in.
Mine is incredibly smart about it. Like, Luna is constantly keeping people healed up.
Nice.
Yeah.
In mine, interestingly enough, a couple of her spells right off the bat. So we have 5. One is heal. It's heal all. You start this game with heal all, which Bernard, friend of the show,
Really?
Bernard, friend of the show, Bernard pointed out that makes sense given that it is a song.
True.
But anyway, although it doesn't heal the enemies, I guess. Maybe the enemies don't like it. It's a genre of music they don't like. Wait, what if each person has a genre of music they like, and that's how you heal just one person? Anyway, if you play Grant Kirkhope music, they lose health. Anyway,
Fuck you.
Anyway, you have heal all. You have heal just poison, but I do think it's for everybody. You have charm. You get charm right off the bat, but it's charm one enemy, not everybody. You have raise entire party's attack damage spell right off the bat. And the 5th one is the 5th one I forget, but during the course of today's play, I did get a 6th one, which is a sleep spell against all enemies. So it's pretty fucking dope that I have all these souls right at the beginning, and they took them out for y'all's version of the game. So
yeah, they took them out completely. She only gets 6, at least in the PlayStation 1 version. I don't know if our version has extra stuff, but in the PlayStation 1 version, she has Healing Song, Purity Song, Cascade Song, which is the attack up. She has Escape Song to escape out of everything. Temptation Song, which is the sleep one, and then Tranquil Song, which is her heal all. So her Healing Song is a heal 1, and Tranquil Song is a heal all.
Sorry, I actually forgot to ask. Sam, I know that you're on PSP version. Eli and other Sam, what versions are y'all on?
PSP. I'm on PSX.
Okay, you're playing the PSX version. So is your version mostly like what I'm playing, Eli?
Mine seems to be more like PSP.
Okay,
in general.
Cool. Yeah.
Like, everything that Sam has said has been very close to my game.
Yeah, so when I was seeing if it would make sense for us to play different versions, I watched this portion for all versions. Eli's version does things that the PSP version does in a presentation like the Sega CD version. So it's more like a SNES game, but it has the second pass at the script and the zhuzhing up thereof, but also has a world map where we don't, and the characters are all chibi and SNESy, and ours are PSP full-on anime dudes all the time. But yeah, it's like literally right in between the two extremes, which is really cool.
Neat. Anywho, so drag. So we get to the Dragon Cave.
Oh, also,
What's up?
Sorry. Speaking of battles, the other thing that Luna starts with in the PSP version is a limit break. They added for the PSP version. It's not in Eli's version. Everybody has a limit break. Everybody except for Ramus, because Ramus does not have any spells. He does not have a limit break. I guarantee you, he's going to puss out of this adventure and be Mr. Not appearing in this game.
Yeah,
fairly
Ramus
soon.
fucking sucks. I hate this guy.
Yeah, I will say that his little anime sprite is great though, because he attacks with a sword just like Alex does, but Alex goes up and does swords. Ramus stands like facing the enemy, closes his eyes, and just like waves the sword at him, and that's his attack.
That was like my favorite visual detail while I was battling, realizing that the protagonist actually like knows how to handle his sword, and this other kid just comes up and is like, ah!
Yeah.
That's really
just such an excellent little detail that they put into there. It's very impressive.
Yeah. Another little animation detail that I really liked that I wanted to bring up since we're talking about that. When you open chests, you actually move. Like, there's a little animation of the character kneeling down to open the chest.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't even think our version does that, and our version is all anime and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, my version, so my game, again, I mentioned it is beautiful, but it is beautiful in a much more old-timey, simplistic way, right? Like, it's funny, like, this game has voice-acted animated cutscenes, and yet the in-game graphics are, like, a lot more on, like, the FF4 side of things than, like, the Chrono Trigger side of things as far as advancedness. But one thing that makes it seem very Dragon Quest-y to me, this is just a minor thing, it's not the main thing, but when you're standing, it's like old school to the point where when you're standing still, your character like walks in place, just like in Dragon Quest. Anyway, so we certainly do not have any bespoke chest opening animations, or the cute battle animation. I didn't get any of that, which is a darn shame. Though it is a nice game. Anywho, so we get to the Dragon Cave and we go in, and oh no, we actually can't go in. We try to go into the Dragon Cave, and it's not working. And this is every time we go into the Dragon Cave. Sam gets this joke now. He didn't get it last week. Anyway, there's a bunch of ice blocking the door, so one of our characters has a dramatic character moment in which they overcome their fear of fire to cast... No, we don't do that. We go back to the town, and we steal from our dad. So instead of learning to overcome your fears, you learn to go steal from your dad, or actually your friend's dad. So it turns out Ramus's dad has like a fire ring, and they're like, I bet we can use it to cast a fire spell. It's dumb.
Weird. Your dad gives you that as a good luck charm when you tell him, hey, we're going to go on an adventure. He's like, I knew this day would come one day because
different ring, not the same ring.
No, in ours, he gives us the fire ring right there, and that's what we use to go and do it.
Can confirm that. I don't remember
we
any,
do get a different ring later that is that ring, so that's weird.
We get a different ring in the dungeon later, but the one from our dad is a fire ring.
Weird. Yes. Well, we steal it from Ramus's dad. So that's fun. Yeah, which makes sense for Ramus. Like, Ramus's dad wouldn't give him something. Ramus's dad kind of hates Ramus because he's a piece of shit, so we steal from him. He's kind of a...
Maybe that's why Ramus sucks, because his dad hates him. Yeah. Like, I feel bad.
He's kind of a Pokey from Earthbound situation, who also is a piece of shit because of his shitty rich parents. That's also the case in that game. It's like, oh yeah, I see why this kid sucks, actually. His parents are bougie assholes, which is to say they're bougie. Anyway, Dragon Cave Take 2. It's a pretty uninteresting cave. Despite being very Dragon Quest-y, this game's caves are not as good. Partway through the cave, we can either go left or right. If we go left, it leads to... Oh, also, I should have said this earlier, but every single song in this game completely slaps. So the music is great in the cave. If we go left, it leads to, what the heck? It's a totally different area. Instead of a cave, it's a beautiful shrine or castle-like area with bomb-ass music. It's very dramatic music. The music you might expect to come towards the end of the game when you're in like a dramatic final shrine or something. Anyway, we go up some dramatic stairs, and there's a big purple crystal. If you're like me, you see that, and you also forget why we came here because you have memory of goldfish, and you assume this is the critical path, so you don't click on the crystal, instead leaving to save and heal for what we assume is going to be a boss. But instead you take the right, but instead on the way back you take the right path to see if there's any treasure, and oh fuck, it's the dragon. This was the critical path, actually. That's what happened to me. The dragon is huge and amazing. The cutscene is dramatic as fuck. He looks like he's straight up made of bones. I don't think he's literally like a bone dragon. I think he just has like white plating. He looks kind of like if the dragon from Panzer Dragoon was just all white instead of white and blue. Anyway, he is lounging upon a crystal seat. He says that the long and difficult journey is something few have survived, and he hasn't had visitors in ages. Okay, sure, we just walked over here, I guess. We're literally teens, but all right.
Yeah, I do love early JRPG stuff where they're like, I can't believe you did that. Like, I'm level 1, come on.
I gained a couple levels. It wasn't that hard. I feel like anyone could do it. Anyway, he says that we, Alex, have green eyes. So the time has come at last? The last time he saw green eyes, it was dying. He gives us a ring that will let us become a Dragon Master and says go to the mainland and come back when we've become a real man. So, a lot has happened in this short conversation. He then also says that Luna looks familiar, as if their souls are somehow intertwined within cells and are linked within cells and are linked within one stem. Ramus remembers that Ramus is the only person in this party to remember we actually have a hustle here, and he says, cough up the diamond, old man. We don't care about you giving us JRPG plot. We are here for the diamond. Quark is like, oh god, why do humans care so much about my dragon shit? Diamond. Sure. Just give me a second. ... Okay, here's a diamond. The game, even though it's on Sega CD, well, it's a Sega game, not a Nintendo game, so it actually does say SHI and then like dash as he cuts himself off to say, actually, you know what? Here's a dragon diamond. So he shits out a diamond.
Fuck it.
He shits out a diamond, and we skedaddle on out of there. What?
Real quick, there is a difference in mine. It didn't have the I. It said SH and then stopped. And so, like, he could have been saying his shed scales, but my mind immediately went to, is it your shit?
The way the writing was, I'm pretty sure it was.
The Game Boy Advance version says they're just turds, but whatever. Like, it doesn't even block it.
That's funny.
That was my memorable moment before I started playing the game.
So we skedaddle.
I will stop you about this dungeon. So I don't know if there's a crystal, because I found the critical path really early, but the dungeon was actually really cool because in our game we have Chrono Trigger enemies instead of random battles, and you use the fire ring to get into the thing, but then you don't get to use it on the same asset when it's used inside. What you have to do is piss off the monkey ones, but don't get into a battle with them, because if you get into battle with them, you'll kill them and they'll be gone. So you have to piss them off and lead them into the crystals, which they'll smash, and then you can walk through. And
Holy
it's like
cow.
kind of puzzly, like which monkey do I use to get through, etc. And so you go and you talk to the dragon, and he's like, oh wow, I'm not expecting any visitors. Luna, you kind of look like her. And Luna's like, what? And that's when Ramus is like, give us a turd. And the dragon's like, okay, well, it'll take me a while to get one. So I'll give you one if you can pass this trial. Alex, you go and find the dragon ring and bring it back to me. So you go to a different part, do more dungeon, get the dragon ring and bring it back. And that's when he's like, you've passed the trial. It's been a big deal for you to actually get this dragon ring. You can have a fucking turd. Go on your merry way.
Wild.
And
yeah,
cool.
It seems like they've really expanded it.
Yeah, it's so funny how, like, my version feels like the second version. Like, normally when you remake games, you, like, tend to add mechanical Warcraft, which, I mean, okay, your game did add limit breaks, but, like, it also took out 4 spells, right? But also, like, my game seems more like if you were like, oh, we're making a portable version, so we're just abbreviating this scene to take out a needless side quest, right? But no, your version does that.
Even weirder, the Game Boy Advance version, the reason we're not playing it is there are 4 dungeons this week on the Game Boy Advance version.
Oh, gosh. What?
You get a party member early. You run into him, and the Godo Woods that we're about to go to, that little dungeon, that is just the woods outside of town, and the dragon cave is inside of it. So you have to do the woods, first half of the woods dungeon, make your way into the dragon cave, two halves of that dungeon there, and then you have the second half of the Godo Woods later. They have 4 dungeons where we have 1. And it's wild. So that's why we're not doing it, is because like that party member that they got, we don't get until a lot later. And it's just, it's bonkers how different it is. And that one is the portable version where you would think they would dumb things down.
Yeah. That's so interesting how just reconfigurable it all is. That's quite neat. Anywho, yeah, I'm sorry, I did forget to mention that. Yeah, the dragon. As soon as the dragon tells us that we're actually the new big hero or whatever, like just all of a sudden, he gives us a dragon ring. Yeah, which he says that's what we're supposed to take. Oh, I actually did say that. I'm sorry.
You did.
I forgot that I already said it. Again, goldfish memory. I'm on more hormones than I used to be, so maybe it's making my memory be more goldfish-like. I don't know. Or I'm just committing to the bit of being bimbo. Anyway, we skedaddle on out of there. If we go back to the crystal, thus after we realize that it's not in fact the critical path, Null just says, I don't think we should be here, very cautiously. So, as the music and graphics kind of already suggested, this is probably some dramatic later on in the game thing. You can just tell the second you walk in, you're like, this is not the first dungeon. So we go back to the town. We are really hyped to sell our diamond, but the shop seller says it's far too valuable. The shop seller tells us that he requires our finest diamond, and we tell him, you couldn't handle our finest diamond, shop seller. Our finest diamond is much too valuable. And he hasn't even the money to buy it. He says to go to Meribia, the big port town, to sell it. Hey, we wanted to go to Meribia anyway to catch a boat to the mainland. So in case for those keeping score at home, we want to go to Meribia so that we can go to the mainland and be a big Dragon Quest hero. Ramus wants to go to the port town to sell a dragon turd and get a lot of money. So Sam's prediction that that he might not be around very long would make sense given those two motivations.
Yes.
So we'll see. Also, I'm realizing, like Pokey, since he is like very selfish and a jerk and greedy, maybe he'll end up being a bad guy, right? So anyway, we talk to our dad and mom. They are proud of us and totally chill with us going on an adventure. Also, there's a few scenes here that happen out of order. I didn't realize this until I watched a Let's Play to take these notes, and the scenes in the Let's Play didn't happen in the same order that I had them when I was playing. So I think that these couple of scenes, like the way that the triggers work, is a little bit interesting and maybe even non-linear. So for me, the scene happens immediately after. We talked to our dad and mom. They're totally proud of us. They're totally chill with what's going on an adventure. We ask permission to go on the adventure. Our mom gives us $500, and our dad gives us a ring that I mentioned earlier, though not the same one as Sam's ring. And he also gives us a letter that will get us on a boat to the mainland in the town of Saith.
We keep referencing Longcast this episode.
Sorry.
If you want to catch half the jokes we've talked about, you should go listen to our Longcast season.
He says to never settle for anything less than our dreams. It's sweet. Also, I just realized I just lied. I'm sorry. Saith has a boat to Meribia. Meribia is not the port town on this island. Meribia is the port town on the mainland. So our friend Ramus will be accompanying us on the boat. He's not getting off at Saith. I just realized that I realized I was conflating those two towns. Anyway, yeah, he says, don't ever give up on your dreams. It's really sweet. If we go to Ramus's house, his parents are really upset that Ramus wants to go on an adventure and say to knock some sense into him, but we don't, and we leave. So, well, all right, that's it. Time to go on our next town. Oh, no, we forgot the bridges out. So, now that the water has died down, now. The NPCs have different dialogue. By the way, the NPCs have a bitch ton of dialogue in this game. The NPCs changed their dialogue 3 times for me in this play session. Incredible. Nice. So anyway, the river's down, but the bridge is destroyed, and the Axeman has lost his axe. Apparently, he's not just lazy, but quite forgetful. There's some funny dialogue with the wife where she's like the naggy but responsible wife, and he's like the oafish husband. It's quite cute. She tells us that he left it in a shed in the woods, and it's riddled with monsters. Sighing, we go. I'm sorry.
Is this in the PSP version too?
It is not. It is not in the PSP version. Yeah, it is not there at all.
Is this whole thing not in the version at all?
Wow. Not another thing at all.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. So, well, then I wish I described it in more detail since y'all hadn't played it. Well, it's what I just said, basically. An uninteresting forest dungeon follows. In the forest, we meet some guy. Again, I'm really sorry for messing up the notes this time around. I'm having to get a weird system because I'm streaming, but then after I stream, I go back and watch it. And the Let's Play I watched, they just walk right past this guy and don't talk to him. They just didn't. It's a long play. Who does a long play and walks past an NPC in a dungeon? Anyway, sorry not to dunk on that person. In the forest, we meet some guy. He has a portrait and even has like a little animated cutscene where he shows up and has music. So he's obviously important. Next week, I'll tell you who it was. He doesn't say anything important. He's just like, I'm a guy in the forest. Good to meet you. That's it.
Is it Lake? Because he's a plot important character for the PSP version.
It is, but he wasn't plot important for us this week, so I thought I'd play next week. What happens this week with Lake? He literally just like says, "Hi, I'm Lake," and that's it.
He doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything to us right now because this quest doesn't exist for us right now. But on the way to Saith, we have a forest dungeon where we meet Lake, and he introduces himself, and it's plot important. But that happens later.
Huh. Well, for us, we meet him here and nothing happens. We can apparently walk right past him. We go to the woodsman's little shed and get his axe. Nothing interesting out. This game has not had a boss yet, which is weird. We go back, we give it to the man. He says, all right, I'll fix the thing. Come back later. We leave and see that on the road back, the bridge is still out. We go back in and he says, oh, heck, I was taking a break and I got distracted and I'll go do it now, I promise. If we leave and then come back, he says, I was taking a break. I got distracted. I'll go do it now, I promise. It turns out this keeps happening until you talk to his wife, and then she gets mad that he still hasn't fixed the bridge and tells him to go fucking fix the bridge.
That's cute.
It's really funny, actually, and also it's an interesting little puzzle. Anyway, now that the bridge man has finished his bridge, we cross it and go to the next town of Saith and save, and that's it if you're playing on my version of the game.
Okay, cool.
Well, there are some differences indeed then.
Yeah. So, I was watching, but like, you know, on YouTube, you can press the button to skip every 5 seconds, and all the main plot beats were there. But I saw that forest dungeon, thought it was our forest dungeon, which it was not. So what happens to us is actually really cool and didn't seem to be brought up at all. But we come back after the Dragon Cave, and we're like, we're going to go on an adventure. And Luna's like, awesome. And Ramus is like, hey, hang on, Luna, I got to ask a really like personal guy question. It's kind of gross. Could you step out for a bit? And she goes, yeah, sure. If you need me, I'll be in my room. And Ramus is like, let's leave right now. We can't have girls on our adventure. She's going to ruin things. Let's go make Final Fantasy 15. And Alex is like fine with it. You don't get a chance to like say no, even though it's bullshit. I personally went into Luna's room to tattle on Ramus, and you don't get to do anything. You don't get to do anything. You have to leave. So you go into the Goto Woods, which is a dungeon right next to us, but it's filled with like poisonous fog, and you can't see anything, and it makes everybody cough. And you're like, well, shit. let's turn around. And Ramus is scared as a little baby. And so you go back to back to the town, and you go and talk to Luna, and she's like, I can't believe you fucking left without me. And you're like, well, it's not like we could do anything anyways. The woods are all fucked up. And she's like, well, no, like, let's go and look and just see what's up. And so you take.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can I just say, I actually wrote in my notes a specific quote from Ramus where he says, girls are supposed to prevent boys from having fun. It's just their nature. And I just have to say, kid's going to be reaching puberty soon, and I think he's going to have a very different idea about that.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, unless he's
ditch
gay.
the healer before a... Like, I know that they don't know they're in an RPG or whatever, but I just love that this kid's all like, hey, we need to get rid of the healer before we go on our dangerous quest. Like, you moron. No.
Our party balance is way too good. I cannot have
we
that.
Need all DPS. Like,
all DPS. Yeah, that's the...
Everyone Genji.
That's like the Dude's Rock version of an RPG party. It's just like all DPS all the time. Although I do say, I don't know, like, I do think that my main job is to prevent boys from having fun. So, like, and as the only girl on this podcast, I feel like y'all are being very mansplaining right now. I actually agree with what he's saying about women. That's right. I'm a misogynist. That's what happens when you're a trans girl. You invade women's spaces. Anyway, no, I didn't get yet none of this.
Okay. Oh gosh.
I think when she rejoins the party, after you go back to the town, there is like one line where Ramus is like, a girl, and like that's it, and then we leave.
Yeah, so we get back to the woods, and you're like, see, look, fucked up fog and shit, and Luna like braces herself like she's getting a That's Raven vision and starts to sing her song again, and all of the fog clears up.
Holy
and
shit,
you're like,
it's a magic song.
You're like, what the fuck is that? And she goes, I have no fucking idea. The words that just came out of my mouth. I was possessed, but like it worked. So not going to complain. So you do a little bit of a forest dungeon, and you get surrounded by some monsters. In comes Lake to like save your ass, and he joins the party as a guest character for the battle, and he is like level 50 and you are level 1, and he like one hit KOs 3 enemies per turn, and it's kind of really awesome and kind of puts you in your place. You're like, I'm going to be the next Dragon Master, and some random old guy in the forest just kicks ass.
Hell yeah, I love Pancras.
It does actually give you the option to like he asks, hey, you need help, and you can either say yes, please help, or no, I got this. And I had been saving up my limit break the entire time, so I was like, no, I got this, and I one-shot everything, and then it just went back to that, and he was like, oh, looks like there's more, you got this, and I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing, game, okay, never mind, fine, help.
Yeah. Yeah,
nice.
It's just a fun little. I like those kinds of like. It's not a choice that changes like the story, but it's a choice that sort of lets you express yourself and put your own attitude towards the game and scenario into the process, and it's nice.
Yeah, that is cool. Like, it could have just been a simple "but thou must," but instead it's like, no, you get to fight for a second, and then we "but thou must" you. That's really cute.
And so he, you then have a like camping for the night scene, and I don't remember specifically what happens in it, but Lake kind of is like, yeah, you guys are young, but you got Moxie Kid, etc., etc. And then when you wake up in the morning, he's completely gone, and you're like, well, that was weird. And then you go to Saith and save.
I think he took the gem or something. I don't know, because I only played as far as we were supposed to, but he was acting kind of suspicious, and then he disappears. And I'm pretty sure that we told him about it, right? Didn't one of the characters open their stupid mouth and tell the stranger about the expensive thing they have?
I remember there being a scene, but the long play I was watching, they did talk to Lake, so I thought it was going to be the same thing in Maddy's thing. But I will take bullet point notes better next time.
Yeah, and
crazy.
Like I said, I wish I remembered what he said in mine, but like I really do think it was just like, hi, my name's Lake, I'm hanging out here. He may have even said something that made it seem like there was a quest or something, but then there just wasn't. Whatever, he'll show up later and presumably actually be important. Nice. So yeah, that is it. That is it for the week. We within like 2 minutes of starting the game, within like 30 seconds of starting the game, we got our first party member, Ramus, and within like a few more minutes of playing the game, we got our second party member, Luna, which is cool. We've already got a solid party, and we're already having some good mechanics. Haven't had a boss battle yet. We're about to get to our second town, presumably go on our adventure. I did briefly step into the town just to talk to the first NPC and have the first NPC say, "Welcome to the town of Saith." And it made me think that I think that we should have that in real life. I think that like part of it, I think that a little part of the city's budget, it's like a jobs, as like a make work program, it's like a job program. One of our city government should pay just for one person, to have the job of sitting around like the entrance to a city, and if anyone walks up, they say, "Welcome, traveler, to the beautiful town of Oakland," and they give you like one more line of dialogue about it. I think that'd be great. I think we should do it. I would do that. I would do that job.
And you just have to, like, if the person keeps talking to you, you just repeat the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
There was something I wanted to point out, and now I've forgotten it. Fuck.
Okay, well, while Eli thinks about that...
You can say it later.
Nope, I just thought of it. God damn it.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Let me say it. You can save anywhere in this game, and it's really, really great, because it saved my ass.
Really neat decision and interesting. I will say, though, remember, this is still an old RPG, so let's make sure to use rolling saves. Because saving anywhere could mean you saved at the bottom of a dungeon with no health.
Yep.
So let's
I do that all the time. My wife teases me about it because sometimes I'm pretty sure that my like Trails of Cold Steel saves are like 100 of them, or however many the maximum it would allow me to have. I just always do a new one. So yes.
If any of us were to get soft locked, that would be really bad. So let's make sure to not do that.
Yeah. Speaking of the Trail series, if you like this battle system, it was ripped off on the PSP remakes of The Legend of Heroes 3, 4, and 5, and it was expanded upon on The Legend of Heroes Trails Kaseki whole series. So if you like this and you're like, this would be cool if you could do more, well, you can. You just got to go play one of the best series of all time.
Yeah, I was going to say, the battle system reminded me a lot of sort of like a middle ground between Chrono Trigger and the Trails games. And I absolutely love the Trails combat. So
one more quick thing, just as far as difference between the two games go, I forgot to mention. My game, like you said earlier, Sam, does have completely random battles, and another reason why I feel like this game has a lot of Dragon Quest DNA in it, especially Dragon Quest 1 DNA. It has the most RNG random battles I've ever seen in any game that isn't Dragon Quest 1 or 2. It's like, most RPGs, the amount of time they're not really random battles. Like, the amount of time you go between battles is pretty consistent. You can almost set your watch to it. You're like, yeah, you'll take about this many steps and then you'll get a battle, right? I mean, more modern games even have like a depleting meter that shows you when it's coming, right? In this game, it is stupid random. We're talking... It could be a decent chunk of walking, or it could be literally one step, which again is very, very old school. I think it rules, though. I do think in general the battle, the random battle, the encounter rate is a bit high. It's kind of even accounting for the randomness. Like the average is I think a little too high. Not high because it's annoying to have fight battles, but annoying because the battles are very easy. It has not been challenging me at all, and challenging, but also you have to do it is like the worst. Luckily, you always, it's not like it's a challenge or Dragon Quest where it's like, oh, I really got to fight these battles. It's like, I just got to mash the button. I will say though, you do get almost free, flee action. It's not 100% free, but I won't explain. It's kind of weird how it works. I won't explain it, but it's pretty much free. So, towards the end, I was running away from battles because it's like, I don't know if I'm under-leveled or not. There hasn't been a boss battle. So since I don't really know if I need these battles, I'm just going to run away from all of them. But anyway.
I do have to say, just on the topic of the difficulty, is that the PSP version at least was fairly close, at least to my sort of sweet spot for difficulty, in that like it gave me an opportunity to sort of like play with my character positioning, because that affects it a lot, especially with Luna's ranged attack that she has in this version. And it gave me enough opportunity to like mess around with that to try and figure out the best way to place the characters, and then the best way to direct them for each like formation of enemies that you could run into. And then once I figured that out, it was pretty easy. But, you know, because I had figured it out in the first place, which is kind of my spin. Like, I don't like being like overly challenged necessarily. I'm kind of a simpleton like that, I guess. But I do like feeling like I had to work for making it easy.
Yeah, you want to engage a little bit.
So it worked pretty well for me. Once I had to sort of develop a system to make it so that I could reliably get through battles unscathed, or at least minimally scathed, and it worked for me. I liked it personally.
Especially in the dragon cave, the aforementioned monkeys kind of fucking hit real hard. Yeah. And the first time I ran into one, he like wiped 2 of my characters, and I had to run from battle, which is not free for us. I have only successfully ran from 1 battle. Oh wow, which is nuts. But yeah, it's sounds like it's more difficult, but it's not like balls hard. It's just like right in that sweet spot.
Again, the opposite of how you usually remakes of especially old school RPGs make things easier. My game is honestly I absolutely adore this game. The only real problem I have with it, which is a decent sized problem, is that it is just very, very easy. I've only engaged with the mechanics because I felt like it, not because I had any reason to. Eli, how's your version of the game, difficulty-wise? Oh, you've just been doing auto battle every battle.
Yep.
Sounds like it's pretty easy.
I did wipe once in the forest, but I had saved like 5 minutes earlier.
Good.
Because I discovered saving everywhere.
Nice.
Anyway, I think that pretty much is it. So we can play some music. I recommend the battle music because
I was going to pick the battle music because I don't know if it's better than Cosmic Star Heroine, but it's like on par with Cosmic Star Heroine battle theme.
It's
like
very, 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 very good.
It's so good. So we'll listen to that, and then we'll talk about any remaining memorable moments. We sprinkled a lot of them in, so we might not have any, but I have a couple.
Hell yeah.
So let's listen, and then let's talk. I will go first because there are a couple of things from the intro that I really liked. Let's see, what was her name? Because our text boxes don't have names. Her name is Limia. She's hot. She is real hot.
Wait, let me look her up. I gotta look her up. There's a hot girl. I gotta look her up, obviously. How do you spell this?
Yeah. Lemia. Specifically look up her PSP art because it's slightly different comparing it to the manual. She is more severe looking in the manual, but she is like
she's like hot.
She's hot as hell, and she's hilarious.
My gosh.
She was a standout for the opening. So I know that Eli starts the game on a cool ass hill where Diane's thing is, and I know that Maddy's is not. So I don't think Maddy ever gets to see that we're on the fucking moon. The big planetary body in the sky is Earth.
Yeah.
That didn't even occur to me.
I have not seen that, and also that explains why the game is called Lunar.
Yeah. Yep. That's real cool.
Honestly, that was one of, not to hijack your moment, but that would also be one of my moments. Like that screen, of the Dine Shrine, is like it just has the Earth hanging over it, and that was a moment of just immediately like, okay, I'm transported into this world now. This is gorgeous. That's and so weird cool. And interesting.
I'm wondering if it's my version like some kind of not plot twist, but like thing you learn later, or if it's like in the manual, which I haven't read, which is weird, for the record. I usually make it a point to read the manual of a game, especially older games before playing. They're so easily available. You just Google name of game manual PDF. I just didn't this time because I had a busy week, but I will, and I'll let you know if I'm supposed to have already known that.
Yeah. It's real cool. The other one that I had, of course, was a double whammy. So the screenshots I took were of him saying that the diamond was his turd, but also on the PSP version, by the way, is gorgeous. It is higher resolution, but they didn't do the thing that a lot of higher resolution remakes do, where they then throw out all of the cool color information that you got from the 16-bit. Like, the colors are great on this PSP version, which is not something you usually get. But so Quark is a physical presence on the screen, and he is animated and a big ol' sprite, and it's great.
It's really cool.
Instead of bones, he's like droopy ass skin, but also, spoilers for the attract mode at the very beginning, we know that Null grows up and becomes a dragon, and he looks like a grandpa version of the Null we see in the attract mode, which is intertesting and really cool. And I really liked that. But those were the main ones that I had that were PSP specific.
That's neat.
Anybody else have some?
Other Sam, I want to hear if you have any so that no one else takes them.
Now, specific moments we're talking about that stood out?
Lines you liked, graphics you liked, anything you just want to comment on that's something you liked or want to comment on that hasn't been mentioned already.
Yeah, cool. Well, I mean, that's why I sort of barged in about the Earth, because that was definitely sort of the first moment that really just, I don't know, the moment where I sort of fell for the game, I guess. But I will say the opening that is in our version, at least, was very interesting, because as I was playing it, at first I was like, okay, well, this is a little, it felt a little like cheesy, not necessarily in a bad way, but definitely in kind of a like silly way, I guess. And yet I played the game. I started the game like weeks ago because I'm an idiot and just jumped the gun a little bit. And, you know, of course, over time, like I took notes, but my memories of the specific details have sort of, faded a bit since then. And it's fascinating how, like, some of my notes in here include that, like, some of that seemed like a little silly, and that some of the exposition later on felt a little clumsy and stuff. But when I'm reading that in my notes, I don't remember that at all, because this game is emotive as hell. Like,
even my version is extremely.
Yeah, I just my memory of this game has pretty much nothing to do with those details that I was noting in here, and pretty much just everything to do with how it made me feel. And on that front, like, it's just really, really good. Like, that whole opening sequence was very emotive, and it felt big and epic, despite, you know, like, I didn't know who any of these people were. I started playing the game 2 minutes ago, but it felt like it mattered anyway. Like, it's just, it's fascinating to me, because that moment, but then even throughout the rest of the game, it always feels to me like one way or another, there's one thing or another that isn't quite working, or is like a little bit off, and none of it matters. Like, it still all just works. And that's a little more general, I guess, than one moment. But the opening sequence made me think of that. Seeing the Earth in the sky was another big one, and then I again just really, really liked the bit in our version where you could choose to accept Lake. That's his name, right? Lake. Yeah. You could choose to accept his help or not, because I'm a sucker for those kinds of choices that don't like change anything necessarily, but that do sort of establish something of a tone or an attitude that you're going into the game with. I really like that kind of thing. So that was nice. I liked it. And also the scene with the animated cutscene with Luna singing was gorgeous, but also just background, at least in the PSP version, that location, like the art for the background there, stunningly gorgeous, just absolutely beautiful. It's just a very pretty game.
Yeah, speaking of other pretty things in the PSP version, the spell effects and everything are fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
And the limit breaks especially are like bonkers good. And it sounds like the games are different enough where, Maddy, when you finish playing the Sega CD version, you should immediately start playing the PSP version, because it's different enough where it won't feel like you're doing the same thing, and it's real good. So
yeah,
loving it.
Yeah.
What about use others guys that have
Eli, you go first.
Okay, I took a few screenshots of things. I don't know if I would say I loved them. Although, okay, I did find a moo cow, and
what really?
Yeah, there's a little barn with it's just got a cow in there.
Oh, my version doesn't have a cow. I don't have a cow, man.
Why are you even playing that version without cows?
It seems unplayable in that case. Literally broken. You can go talk to the moo cow and it goes moo, and then Null has something that he says about drinking milk, and he even says like it does a body good. Just like cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love working designs.
There's a bunch that you can inspect things, and Null will have some sort of quip about them. And you can go up to Luna's bed, and when you click on it, he's like, "No, you can't go to sleep, especially in Luna's bed. Besides, the scented sheets will make you smell like a girl." And that was one of the first things he said where I was like, "No, you cis-normative little shit." He also, you can go talk to Luna's teddy bear, and he says, "This is one ugly teddy bear. I'm a lot more fun to hug than this filthy flea bag." And I'm like, I disagree. But yeah.
Mod the game to swap out Null for the teddy bear.
Yeah, I'll just take the teddy bear with me.
Just to show him. That'll fucking show you.
Yeah. But yeah, those were the main things. I really liked the cow. I thought that was a cute touch.
Love cows.
Yes.
Yep. I'm sorry to interject, but can I add one more thing? I forgot.
Go for it.
Yeah.
This is such a tiny detail, but I really, really loved that in our version, at least, after that introductory battle and stuff, it then cuts to the house where our characters as like little children are being told this story by their parents, and it has them in the same room with a bunk bed as little kids. And then when it does, the time skip to when the story actually starts in earnest, you see that room is now Luna's room, and the protagonist is up in a in his own room somewhere. And it's such a tiny detail, but I absolutely loved the fact that the passage of time was actually marked with a different layout in where they are in the house and how their lives are going at this point. It was such a nice little thing. It's one of those things that just struck me because you don't necessarily expect a video game to include that kind of small insignificant detail, but it I don't know, I thought that was really neat.
And it's true, when you're a kid it's fine to share a room with your sibling, but when you get a little older you kind of want to have some privacy. It's weird, you might fight more often or just get annoyed with them or whatever, right?
I had a sister growing up and had the same thing. We had a room, and then my older sister went to college and I got that room, and that's a thing that happens, and that's not the type of thing I expect to see in a game.
I mean, it's certainly different than Final Fantasy VII, in which, if you recall, Cloud's bedroom and the kitchen and the living room were all the same room. And it's like, how does this kid live with he's going to bed and his mom's right over there?
So many JRPG houses are designed that way because it's just like one big room and there's just a bed over there, kitchen over there.
Yeah. What about you, Maddy? Do you have any that you
just a couple? It's funny. I've been watching, while y'all have been talking, I've been watching some long plays trying to find one that has some of the NPC dialogue because I skipped it like a dummy, and then I realized I can just watch my VOD from yesterday's stream. Because I did talk to every NPC.
Good job.
Anyway, at the very beginning of the game, there's something really cute that I thought was cute for the game, especially as a Genesis game. When it does the little lore, there's a few lines of lore. It has what do you call it? It has like a zoomed out view of the world map. And then after it gives you that lore, we're now going to the town, right? And it like quote unquote zooms in, and it basically was 100% the game's designers being like, man, we wish this console could do mode 7. Like it's straight up the kind of like zoom in to the world map that you get from FF6 or 4, but it wasn't because they don't have world mode 7, so it didn't look as cool, which I thought was really cute. Once again, working designs' localization work is amazing here. It's hard for me to explain exactly what's different about them compared to what you get from like SNES games. I don't want to say it's more hip and modern because it's not. I guess it's just more characterful. I guess it's just got a lot of color. It's a little weirder, but not in a way that feels like bad. It's in a way that feels really deeply good. Anyway, I finally got some of the lines. Like this guy, this one NPC says like, "Hey, the river is really high and rose out the bridge. I think the river rose because of spring, but the others aren't so sure." And I'm like, wait. So you just think the river got high because of increased like runoff from like melting from mountains, aka the normal scientific reason. Why would the others not be so sure? Is something going is something going on with the world? Is it the whole like there's more monsters now because there's more, because of the world being bad? Like it's interesting. And anyway, speaking of which, I'm about to get one of the lines I was really wanting to remember. There it is. Okay. So this guy's talking about, I finally got it. This whole time I was looking for this one line. He's talking to you and he's like, there's more and more monsters out there. It's tough out there. But just like you, I want to be a hero when I grow up. But it's a lot of work to be a dragon master, which is why I'm eating my Wheaties. Just a really classic little bit of working design color, with a little colloquial. Finally, when you go into the NPC, this one NPC's house, they have this really cute little thing where the husband is like, "Oh man, me and my wife, as you know," as they always say when they're giving you things that the player doesn't know, like as you know, I love my wife. It's like our anniversary or something, and I was in the big city of Maribia on like business or something, and that's where we met and we fell in love, and then because we were so in love, she I just really couldn't deal with the city life, so she moved out here, and
I remember these people,
and we're just so happy. And then you talk to the wife and she's like, "I hate it here. I fucking hate it here. It's so boring. There's nothing to do. This shit sucks. Why did I agree to move out here?" And that's just it. You don't get any resolution. This is an RPG, so people are sort of perennially frozen in time. This is one of my favorite things about JRPGs, but I won't go into it now. It's just a snapshot of people's life, right? It's not a side quest, right? So it's like, yeah, they have differing opinions. They're not talking about their feelings. This might develop into resentment and a lousy marriage in the future. Who knows? Or maybe they'll just be bickering couples. It's really cute.
Also, can I just say, I don't know if this is going to reflect weirdly on me, but I feel like that's a Green Acres reference. I don't know if that's a Green Acres reference.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, you know how there were a bunch of old nonsense comedies on black and white TV?
Green Acres is? Oh my god.
Green Acres is the place
to be. Yeah.
Okay, I do recognize that ditty, so I guess I vaguely heard it.
In the era of like I Love Lucy and Mr. N and stuff like that, black and white TV comedy about a guy moving with his wife out to the country, even though she prefers the city. And I don't know, I remember those two, and it made me think of that.
Ava Gabor, like that was how she got really famous in the US, or at least I think it was how she got it. It was at least partially due to that.
Yeah.
Nice. Interesting. It could be. Yeah. Anyway, one more thing. Again, Nal is very sassy and it's very cute. Mostly actually funny, which you don't get a lot in JRPGs. You just get like pretend funny. not like actually funny. And usually the jokes is just that like, oh, you saw someone's panties, ha. But with this, when you go back and talk to Ramus's parents, his nanny, apparently not his mom, but his nanny, is like saying that like, you know, you're always causing us so much trouble. You need to stay inside and stay safe. And he basically throws like a fit. He's like, Nanny, I'm all grown up now. I'm a big boy and I can go on an adventure. And then Null says, yes, Nanny, Ramus is big. And I thought that was like he's being super dry and like talking down to the nanny by being like, yes, Ramus is big. He is clearly a teenager. But actually the next line made it clear that he was actually making fun of Ramus for being fat. Which is a shame. You hate a fat joke. But the first line, like, I didn't think it was a fat joke at first. I was like, oh, that's hilarious, right? He's like kind of taking Ramus's side and being like, you nanny can't understand that your child isn't 5 years old anymore, right? Regardless, it was still very well written, even if it was a lousy joke. So, that is all that I've got.
In that case, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just found out that my wife messaged me from the other room saying Green Acres wasn't black and white, lol, and then immediately afterwards, oh, maybe it was, ignore me. No, wait, she said, never mind, I'm right. Jimmy,
how can the acres be green if it's black and white? It'd be like specific shade of gray acres.
Okay, yeah, no, apparently it was in color, but then, okay, well, that's weird. I guess I was wrong. And then I brought it up just to make fun of my wife, and then it turned out that I was the fool. So,
it's a two times I was wrong combo, Bob.
Honestly, I'm glad that you're saying these things because I was thinking, oh, we have a guest. We need to make sure that we don't make damn fools of ourselves because we're all a bunch of idiots. So I'm glad that I don't feel intimidated anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you can just say you're glad that I'm also an idiot. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least you got owned by your wife, at least.
I mean, that happens regularly.
Yeah. I've heard that's what wives are for.
Yeah. It's a useful function, yes.
But that will do it for the week. Next week, we are playing until something big and important happens. So we go off and we become a man, according to Quark, and then we come back to see Quark, and then we get called away because some big scary stuff happens, and we fight a pack of 6 soldiers from the Vile tribe, and then we make our way back to Berg, and we see some shit has happened. And after we see what that shit that has happened in Berg, and it sends us on our merry way to our next plot point, we will save.
I just realized I'm going to make a prediction based on your very vague description. This game came out in 93, right? Yeah. They're totally doing the same thing that Lufia 2 does, which is rip off of Dragon Quest V. There's going to be a time skip in this game. We're in the prologue chapter, baby. That's just a guess.
I don't know.
That's just a guess. That's just a guess.
Literally have no idea.
And look at that. We had so little to play, and yet we've talked for almost 2 hours about it.
Yeah, we did.
Well, I guess did we keep the recording going? So we talked a while before we started actually doing it. It was at 33 minutes when we started talking about the plot. Yeah, so we still got pretty good timing.
To be clear, I was letting it hang out a lot this week because we had so little.
Yeah,
and like you're not wrong anyway, because, well, I don't know, I was surprised personally at how much I just fell for this game as I was playing it. Like it really just kind of hooked me, and I hated that I started it so early because I have not been able to play any more of it for like weeks. So
yeah, you should do like me and play it at the very last fucking minute and panic over it.
Yep.
I was
Honestly, that's usually how I do it.
I was having an actual anxiety attack that was partially fueled by the fact that I hadn't even installed the game yet yesterday. Thankfully, Sam he has the fucking patience of a saint, for
He
my
really
ADHD
does.
I have the patience of having two children
kids,
under 4 years old.
Yeah, well, I'm basically one of your children.
Yes,
we are all Sam's children, including other Sam.
You're my son. That's 4 years older than me.
I'm from the future. Coronavirus, something. I'm sorry, Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I had an ADHD fueled panic attack because I just put things off until the very last minute because I can't. Like I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was very kind and helped me get the game set up. And at that point, like, I went back to bed, I chatted with people, I played the game, I got through most of it, and then I was able just to finish off the last little bit during work. So
yeah,
I mean, during my breaks.
Yeah, and it having auto battle is great for like I know I'm not in danger here, so I'm not really going to pay attention until I see an NPC dialogue box pop up. I'm just going to put on auto battle and like hang out. It's a really good like chill sort of game, which is nice. I like it. But yeah, play until something dramatic happens, and it'll happen in the town of Berg, and you shouldn't be able to miss it. As I get closer to it, I probably will play this tonight and let you know exactly where it is after that. But
one quick comment. Speaking of playing it tonight, in case you're curious, because as a reminder, actually maybe not a reminder if you hadn't seen, I am Twitch streaming this game in its entirety. I am probably either playing on Monday night, in which case that's too late for you to you won't have known about that by the time this comes out. Sorry. Or I'm doing Thursday night, Monday night or Thursday night. Either way, it will be on my Twitch. Like once I decide, it'll be on my schedule on my page. So if you want to watch me play the game and not have to play it yourself, feel free to join in. Yeah.
Dope. But if you like what you heard today, you can check the three hosts out on the web at www.rpgbook.club. And that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm still so excited about that. But it has links to all of our socials. You can also drop us some donations and keep the lights on and pay for us to get cool games. And also, everyone who donates can vote on our next game. Buckle up, because this next block is fucking weird. And we promised 3 years ago, whenever the fuck it was, that we were going to play some weird shit, and we are making good on that promise. I'm real excited for the next block. It is the sort of stuff I dreamt about when I came up with the idea for the podcast.
Oh,
but
boy,
we'll
I'm
be
excited.
doing that
now
soon.
I really want to play it either tomorrow or Thursday.
Yeah, but so then yes, you can vote on those and hang out with us there. You can catch the Game Professor at these places. You say it because I butchered it earlier.
Well, it should just be youtube.com/gamesasliterature. Also, if you search Games as Lit 101 on YouTube, you'll find it. It's at Games as Lit on Twitter. There's also a Facebook page that I occasionally remember to actually update. I have to stay on Facebook now because I have family on it.
I get
it. Yeah, those are kind of the main things. The YouTube series is the main thing. So if you go there and see a literary analysis I've done of a game you like,
yeah,
then you can click on that.
I found your YouTube because I was looking for Legend of Dragoon content, and there's quite a lot now, but right around the time that you came out with it, there was none. There was one
really
dude there was one dude that talked about how cool editions were and your series, which was awesome. So if you liked Legend of Dragoon, which I'm guessing everybody that listened to this podcast did, because everyone that was on the podcast did, you can start there and then branch out from there.
I've also since done one on Final Fantasy VII, if that's more anyone's thing. It's an hour and a half long. I apologize.
Sam, have you watched that? Did he explain to you that why it's actually good?
Actually, yeah, because I was real hype for remake, and I was like, it's been a hot second, and this is new content from Games as Lit 101, so let me drop that bad boy on. I currently do not remember anything about it because it happened in the before times, which was prior to coronavirus.
Understandable.
So, I don't remember anything that happened in the
ago. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't remember anything that happened in it, but it is great. What I do remember is the multi-part series on The World Ends With You, which is phenomenal. Probably the best work of yours that I've seen so far. Love it to death. Everyone should check that one out. And then also play The World Ends With You because it's a phenomenal video game that nobody fucking played.
The World Ends With You. I can't believe that people still haven't played it. It's so good.
It's so good.
I know it's time to go, but I was jumping the gun because I was done talking, so I started doing my Twitch thing since I'm an affiliate now, and they wanted me to set up 2FA, and I have to share this. I guess I shouldn't share my code, but whatever. I'm not. It's okay. I used the code, and no, this is no longer a thing I shouldn't share. The code that I had for 5 seconds before I enabled 2FA was 666 69 68. That is almost like the best possible number in existence.
Nice.
That reminds me. So at work we use Log Me and Rescue because I do IT, and a lot of my current job's clients are churches because I work for the Gordon Flesh Company. We sell copy machines, and so churches need to make what are they called? Bulletins? Yeah. And you make bulletins every Sunday, so they have all these fancy ones. So 9 times out of the 10, if it's a church that calls me, I generate them the code so I can remote it to their computer, and it's like 666 Hail Satan. And I'm just like, well,
that's really funny.
Please type this in and hope that God doesn't smite you, but I need you to type in 666 into your computer real quick. And it doesn't help that it's a 3-digit code or a 6-digit code. So I always read it in 3s, so it's easy to do it. So I'm always like, all right, my code is 666. Fuck. 176
420.
But check everyone here out online. Next week we will probably be moving a lot faster than we did this week. It's just this game's cozy, and it's really easy to get cozy. But for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm usually Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm probably Maddie Grace Alexandra Spiffle-Webbin on twitch.tv.
I was going to say I'm Sam the Game Professor, but now you all have me questioning that.
Toodaloo,
goodbye, everybody. Which one's the clicking?
Listen, the RP train don't fucking stop for no one, alright?
Oh my god. Fucking Erpers, I swear to god, I take this shit so seriously.
I mean, my Mikote is on his honeymoon right now, so...
My friend Mara recently made a funny tweet where they were like... It was just like a pic of their character, and they were just like... I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV, the massively multiplayer online ERP. And I'm like, it really is, isn't it?
Yep.
Couldn't be me. I am simply grinding. The normal kind, not the other kind.
Not the ERP kind.
Although I'm not actually playing the game right now, but yeah, once I get back to it.